fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Transformers and Knight Rider collaborative Autobot Agent Knight. So right off the bat, I love this old nostalgic packaging. You know, you have the authentic 80s Transformers logo there on the top. You have the kind of grid patterning. Unfortunately, I got mine from Amazon, and as you can see, they kind of beat the heck out of the box here, which is a bit of a shame. But you have those kind of simplified conversion instructions there on the top, also very reminiscent of the original packaging. Got the robot mode and the car mode here on the side. Same over here on this side. Not really much going on the bottom here, just the collaborative logo. I will say that apparently this has lights and sounds, and it requires 3 LR44 batteries, but it says they're not included. I feel like that's really lame. Most other toys would include them. Hasbro is definitely not footing the bill for batteries, apparently. But again, we have that kind of nostalgic G1 artwork here on the back. Got some tech specs here for Agent Knight, which is pretty cool. If you would like to read those, I will close up there and you can pause the video. But yeah, overall, I think this is pretty cool. I always love these collaboratives. Most of them, I think, are pretty much perfect. The last one we got, the TMNT one, was amazing. So really excited for this. I'm going to have to look around and see if I can pull batteries out of something else temporarily so we can check this out. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead, get them out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. So here is Agent Knight out of the packaging. I mean, it definitely looks like Knight Rider. It is a Pontiac Firebird Trans Am for sure. They did a good job with that. A little bit of paint here on the back for the tail lights. Got the Pontiac logo there. They have translucent windows, which I think makes sense. I mean, this isn't something from a cartoon, so it doesn't really make sense for it to have painted windows. So I think that was the right choice. But, of course, you can just see robot kibble inside. So that's all there is there. You do have the little spot for the light there. And if you put the batteries in, real quick, you can see here's what he looks like underneath. But here's the speaker. Here's the compartment where you have to unscrew these two screws. And it is 3 LR44 watch batteries. Not included, which I think is totally lame. I had to take them out of a gashat. That's what I did temporarily. Got an Autobot symbol there. But it's a really, like, massive battery compartment here, which does kind of ruin the contour of the Pontiac. It is what it is. But you can see down in there, there is a little button right here. So I definitely do not think that is the original voice actor. If you're familiar with 90s pop culture at all, Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World, William Daniels, was the voice of Kit in the original Knight Rider series.
Oh, you're sure this is the right way? Very well.
I definitely do not think that's him. So I think we've gone all the way around. There's just a handful of phrases.
Hold on, this could be a bit bumpy.
Yeah, we've gone all the way around. So I do like the LED. I think that works just like in the show. It travels back and forth, so I do like that part of it. I definitely wish it was clips from the show instead of just, I guess they brought someone in to record some new stuff. I was also secretly kind of hoping it would play the theme song. Doesn't do that either, so I gotta be honest. The light's neat. Not really much else of it works for me personally. That's just me personally. But it does have the little flip-up headlights, which I think is kind of cool. So you just kind of push them down on the back. And they should pop up. There we go. Which is kind of cool. I always liked cars like that had the flip-up headlights. I always thought that was kind of neat. And then you can push them back down. Rolls pretty well. No problems there. That's pretty much all there is to say about it in car mode. He does have 2 accessories. So he has these 2 kind of basic guns here. It looks like you can peg them into each other. You can peg this one onto the end here.
Kid signing off.
He also does that when you let him sit for a while. But you can peg these into each other. I don't really know that it's that great or that exciting, but you can do it. You can also store these underneath, which I do like. So on this one here, you have a large rectangular tab that goes over here. So you just peg that in right there. And then this one has those two rectangular vertical pegs. That goes right there. So pop or drop it, whichever you prefer. And then pop that in there. There we go. Yes, yes, there we go. So you can store both the weapons underneath. Still rolls well. Overall, I like the look of it. I mean, it is Knight Rider. You know, they definitely recreated the car pretty faithfully. I'm happy with that. I just wish, you know, as a fan of the original show, I wish they had just taken lines from the original show so that it was William Daniels as the voice of Kit. And I kind of wish it played the theme song. That would have cost extra money, I'm sure, but that would have really made it for me. But yeah, that's where we're at in the car mode. So let's go ahead and get to the transformation. So honestly, this is a pretty like Prowl, Blue Streak, Smoke Screen type of transformation. If you've handled any of those, it's really not too far off. You're going to unhook the arms. So you can see the forearms had, well, you probably can't see, let me zoom in. The forearms had these tiny little tabs, and they tabbed into those little spots right there. So you just kind of lift this up, and then this whole thing will kind of pop out to the side. You just have to make sure you clear that. But now you can see the tabs there on the forearms. So again, you're just going to lift this one up, kind of bring it down enough that you can clear this little part here. And then this is going to pop out to the side, clear that. And then you can just kind of swing these down. These will kind of come up to like a point where they click. And then you just have to straighten it around, use that bicep swivel so that the fists are pointing in the correct direction. Flip this up and then rotate this, and then there you go. So that's starting off there. Then you're going to come to the side here and just open up the car doors. So we just have to pop this, there we go, open that like that and like that. Then you're going to kind of just like lift this up and it kind of just unhooks. Like basically when this comes around, this little tab here just kind of slides underneath the back, and that's kind of how it forms up like that. So you're just going to kind of slide that out, and then this whole section will flip forward. You're going to come underneath here, and you're going to open up these, what will become his shin pads. So you just open these up, and that will allow this whole section to swing around like so. So you can see that the joint is right here. So that swings around. Then you can come back to here and close these up. You can separate the legs and the feet. And then you're just going to flip these forward and flip out little toes. So flip this forward, flip out little toes. And then, let me zoom out here and probably pop this up a little bit. You can see the joint right here. You're just going to swivel this around 180. You're going to take this little section of the hood and push this down, kind of like with Studio Series Jazz. And this is going to come around, and there is a tab in here, which is probably a little difficult to see, but you can see the tab right there. This is going to tab against into that. Then you can see the head is right here. It's a little difficult sometimes, but you just have to kind of grab a hold and pop it out enough that you can then spin the head around 180 degrees and then flip it up and into the hole there. So this section here, you can kind of see these two gray pieces right there. They're going to kind of come down and like lock into place right there and there. And then you're going to kind of push this section into that. It doesn't lock as like tightly as I'd like it to. And you're probably going to accidentally hit that button one time while you're trying to do this transformation. And unfortunately, there's no on and off switch. But yeah, so basically that's where you're at. Like this will come down and kind of click into place, and you'll see where these two pieces kind of naturally stop. And then this just abdomen piece kind of just clicks in, but not really as snugly as I'd like it to. And then at that point, you're just going to kind of bring this down and just kind of rest it here. And that's pretty much it. So that is Agent Knight transformed into robot mode. So here is Agent Knight in robot mode. Like I said, very reminiscent of Prowl, Blue Streak, Smoke Screen. I feel like the robot mode is almost identical. You have those car doors on the back as wings. You have the windshield and the hood, or I'm sorry, roof of the car here hanging off the back. The whole hood section of the car, front of the car is the chest. You have those wheels on the back of the shoulders there. Just very, very much just looks like they stole Prowl's transformation. It's fine. It works. I think it makes sense for the type of car that he is, so I don't really have a problem with that. You can still utilize the sounds in robot mode. They don't change. There's nothing. The Transformer doesn't know what mode it's in, so the sounds do not change depending on what mode he's in. It'll probably say Kit signing off at some point, so be ready for that. But head sculpt is kind of cool. Very basic. Has those big red sunglasses. The silver paint for the face, I think, looks pretty cool, as well as the silver paint on the side of the head. All of that looks pretty good. You can kind of move the head up pretty far, I have to say. It's on a ball joint. Can't really look down all that much, but you can look side to side, no problem. Can't really tilt at all side to side. You have a little bit of movement here, kind of where the swivel piece is. It kind of stops there, but if you want to use that to move it up and down, you can. Unfortunately, because these joints are kind of really tight, you see the problem there. It starts moving the whole torso, which I don't really love. I really wish this locked in a heck of a lot better than it does. So I kind of don't appreciate that, but there we go. Okay. So you have a ball joint here for the shoulder. Decent out to the side movement. Again, you have that extra bit there, but swiveling around. You have a bicep swivel. You have an elbow bend, a little over 90 degrees. You have a wrist swivel. You do have a waist swivel here. This piece here can move around. I don't really know why. I wish that kind of just stayed still, because most of the time it just gets in the way and is annoying. But that little flap there can move up and down. Kick pretty far forward, pretty far back, out to the side, really good. So nice range of motion there in the hips. Got a thigh swivel. Got a pretty good knee there. It stops it the way that piece is. It stops it from bending the wrong way, which is nice. And then you have a pretty good ankle tilt. I mean, honestly, you have a pretty good range of motion there. Technically, you have a little bit of toe movement as well, just because of the way it transforms. But I like the blue. I do like the blue paint there. I think that breaks it up. Otherwise, most of the paint is pretty much still just visible from the vehicle mode. You have this little bit here on the shins, which we didn't see before. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of silver here on the shoulders as well. Mostly it's just attained with different colored plastic. But yeah, he's okay, honestly. Not as exciting as I was hoping. We'll give him his two guns here. Now, he also comes with a third accessory that I guess is like a little wristband, like that he's supposed to talk into, or some kind of fancy watch. But you just pop this in to the arm here. It just pegs in very simply. And honestly, you could leave it on, like in the transformation. There's no reason you can't leave that on when you transform him back into a car. So I think I'll probably just leave it on forever. But Michael Knight on Knight Rider had like a cool watch to contact Kit, when he's out and about, if they needed to meet up. But yeah, so final thoughts on this. It's not really knocking my socks off. It's not terrible. There's nothing aggressively wrong with it. I do wish that the midsection here clipped in and held a little better. It's fine. It stays, if you have him posed, or if, he's just kind of hanging out, it's not really an issue. But like when you try to move the arms, it's going to completely come off. I wish, it's weird the way this is done, because it looks like it's very obviously supposed to clip in here, but then it kind of has these weird beveled spots, and like they can't put anything on here for that because it's, part of the hood of the car. So like it wants to clip in there, but it kind of can't because they put those weird little spots in. It's just weird. It's just like, I don't know, the engineering's just not 100% there, so I don't know what happened with that. Articulation's good, head sculpt's fine, the colors are good. I do like the pop of blue for the upper legs. I think that really pops against the black, since he is a lot of black. The weapons are okay. They're just kind of, in my opinion, kind of boilerplate. Not really anything super exciting, but they're fine. You can connect them together, which is, again, fine. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just coming from the Party Wagon, which I felt like was so well done. It could be Party Wallop. It could be the Four Turtles. It had all the weapons. There was storage for all the weapons. It looked like the Turtle Van. it just had so much going for it. And this one, I think they felt like, oh, this is kind of super basic. Let's put some lights and sounds in it to make up for that, which is not necessarily a bad idea, but they're very generic, kind of not that exciting sounds. Like, I would have loved if it was actually just pulled clips from the show, and maybe that show's so old that the transfers are not holding up or something like that. I don't know how all that works. That's a possibility. The theme song, I understand, probably would have been an additional amount of money, or maybe somebody else owns that and not who they're licensing with. So, like, I understand all that kind of stuff might not have been possible. But that's just stuff that personally would have really excited me. If I would have hit that button and it was William Daniels' voice and it played the theme, I would give this thing so much forgiveness. Like, I wouldn't care at all about the waste thing. I'd be like, I'll deal with that. Look at all this other amazing stuff that it does. I don't care. So, it's fine. Like, this is not a bad toy. I think it's going to display well. Honestly, I feel like you could almost sneak this in with your Masterpiece figures because of what he looks like and how tall he is. Obviously, he's not as complicated as a Masterpiece, but if you put this on the shelf next to, like, Masterpiece Prowl, I think they probably would be about the same size. I don't have one to do a direct comparison, which I apologize for, but I had those at one point, and I think they've been long since packed away, but I remember about how big they were, and I feel like this guy could probably sneak into a Masterpiece collection if you wanted to pretend he was one. Obviously, he's not the same level of quality, but he's about the same size, and he looks probably pretty similar, and you maybe could get away with that. So, it's a decent toy. There's nothing wrong with it. Again, it was $50. I don't know if I mentioned that. That seems like a lot. I mean, this kind of feels like a Voyager. Let's see. What can I bring out here? So, here is Flame, which we know is about Voyager size. So, he's a little bit bigger than a standard Voyager. Here is Studio Series Prime. Prime's a little bigger than he is, so just to give you an idea of kind of, he's a little bigger than a Voyager, but maybe a little smaller than a Leader. And I don't know if they purposely wanted him to be kind of Masterpiece size so he could sneak in with those guys. I don't know. Possible. So I'm not mad. I don't hate it. I am a little disappointed. I would probably wait for a sale. I mean, unless you're a huge Knight Rider fan, which I would imagine these days most people may not have even heard of the show. But if you're a huge Knight Rider fan, by all means, I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's fun for what it does. It could definitely have been better, but it's not a bad toy. It's not... I mean, some things feel a little loose in certain spots, but then, like, in other spots, they're nice and tight. And the hips are kind of a perfect example because, like, a little loose out to the side, but front to back is nice. The knees are pretty nice and tight. Arms are honestly too tight the way they move the chest area around. So, yeah. I think it really just... This one's definitely going to be a year mileage will vary situation. He's not bad. He's not outstanding. He's somewhere in the middle. Some people are going to love him more because they have a nostalgia factor. Some people are going to hate him more because they don't know who this is and they don't care. Sorry, I knocked the camera there. I'll stop yammering on at this point. You get it. Let me know what you think. I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Do you agree? Did you get this? Are you disappointed? Were you looking forward to it? Are you less so now? Do you know what Knight Rider is? Tell me in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.